If you want to talk about someone who was attacked by a weaponized bureau, you're looking at him. And now he's the director of the FBI and he's cleaning it up. Nope. I think the common theme here is you putting words in my mouth, and I'm not going to tolerate it, nor will the men and women of the FBI. That's wildly inaccurate. Let me tell you what the FBI has done since I got there. 8,276 federal arrests to 820 kilograms seized of fentanyl. That's enough to kill 250,000 people. Over 3,000 firearms seized, 350 gang cases.
America, buckle up. What you're about to hear isn't just another Senate hearing. It's a glimpse behind the curtain where power plays out in real time and truth is suffocated under layers of political spin. Welcome back to Truth Pill, the channel where we don't just report the headlines, we dissect the agenda behind them. Today, we're zeroing in on a heated showdown that unfolded on Capitol Hill, a fiery exchange between FBI Director Kash Patel and Senator Patty Murray, one that revealed far more than scripted sound bites and talking points. Beneath the polished statements and forced smiles, we caught something rare. Raw confrontation, unfiltered frustration, and a tug of war over the soul of one of America's most powerful institutions. If you've ever questioned whether the FBI still serves the people, or if it's been co-opted to serve political interests, this video is for you. Because in this hearing, Patel didn't just testify, he stood his ground. And what he said, and what was said to him, might just expose one of the most disturbing truths about the current state of our justice system. But before we unpack this Senate firestorm, pause for a second. If you believe in freedom, accountability, and the Constitution, hit that subscribe button now. Drop a comment below with the word freedom to let big tech know patriots aren't staying silent anymore. And share this video with everyone who still believes that government should work for the people, not against them. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end. I'm breaking down key moments the mainstream media refuses to touch. The real motivations, the coded language, and what it all means for the future of law enforcement in America. So grab your coffee, your Constitution, and a clear mind. Because this is Truth Pill, and we're just getting started. Now let's talk about what really went down when Senator Patty Murray grabbed the mic. She didn't just ask questions, she launched an all-out political assault. From the moment she opened her remarks, it was clear. This wasn't going to be a routine oversight hearing. It was an ambush. Murray came out swinging with sharp accusations, claiming that under Director Kash Patel, the FBI has been twisted into a tool for political vengeance, a weapon to silence Americans who dare to disagree with the administration. According to her, the Bureau isn't prioritizing public safety anymore. It's been hijacked, repurposed, and turned inward on the very citizens it's supposed to protect. And then, she dropped the budget bomb. She tore into Patel for missing legally mandated deadlines, for failing to deliver spending plans and fiscal requests that Congress needs to do its job. Her tone, outrage, her implication, that the FBI's lack of transparency might not be incompetence, but something worse, deliberate, concealed, politically motivated. But what happened next?
Capitol, we're privileged to have the ranking member, the vice chair of the full committee with us today. Senator Murray, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Chair Moran. It's good to work with you and Ranking Member Van Hollen in this new position, so look forward to both of you and the work on this committee. You know, the FBI does really crucial work to keep our nation safe, whether it's stopping criminal organizations or domestic terrorists, protects our nation's secrets, it prevents cyber attacks, keeps our children safe from harm, and a lot more. So this is really sober work with extremely high stakes. And I'm concerned that instead of focusing on the incredibly important mandate to keep Americans safe and to help impartially enforce our laws under your leadership, Director Patel, the FBI has been weaponized to go after Americans who disagree with the president. FBI resources have been diverted away from combating terrorism to focusing on immigration requests. And all of this, the diverted missions, the fewer resources, fewer agents, heightened politicization, is happening now under your watch, and it is, I believe, making Americans less safe. Now, let me just start with the budget. As Ranking Member Van Hollen noted earlier, this hearing is being held without the FBI's fiscal year 2025 spend plan and a full budget request for fiscal year 2026. The spend plan is required by law. It was due to Congress over a week ago. We have not yet seen it. That is really absurd. The FBI is our nation's leading law enforcement agency, a budget of $10.7 billion. It is critical that we understand how you are spending taxpayer dollars. So, Director Patel, when should we expect this FY25 spend plan for the FBI? Have you seen it? Have you reviewed it? When will we get it?
I'll get you an answer, ma'am. I don't have a timeline on that.
It was due last week by law.
I understand.
And your answer is you just understand. You're not going to follow the law?
My answer is that I am following the law, and I'm working with my interagency partners to do this and get you the budget that you are required to have.
And you have no timeline?
No.
Well, we also need a full budget request, not a single paragraph full of wild talking points that we saw with the skinny budget proposal. We're now having a budget hearing without a budget request. So, Director Patel, where is the FY 2026 budget request for the FBI?
It's being worked on, ma'am.
Have you reviewed it? Have you approved it?
Not yet.
When will we get it?
As soon as I can get it from my interagency partners and get it approved.
6 months from now?
I don't know, ma'am. I'm not
Well,
going to
how
make up
do
a timeline.
we, as Congress, do our budget and our work without that request and without the spend plan?
Well, ma'am, I'm here. I'm
don't
doing the
care.
best I can. I can't make up answers. I'm going to commit to you to work on getting you the information you need.
That is insufficient and deeply disturbing. No response?
I've given my response.
Well, the FBI is already down 1,900 employees since 2023 as a direct result of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. And under the Trump administration, FBI agents, analysts, linguists, cyber experts, and scientists are being asked to do a lot more in order to keep us safe. Director Patel, we all know that budget cuts will reduce the FBI's ability to counter threats of terrorism, and it will hinder its ability to keep pace with firearm background checks and shutter operations that combat violent crime, drugs, gangs, and transnational organized crime. Now, I understand that you told our House colleagues yesterday that you don't want to reduce the FBI workforce, meaning that you disagree with what President Trump is proposing?
No, I agree that we can sustain the mission with the proposed budget, and I agree with the budget. And as I said yesterday, I believe that what I said was I can do more with more. And I gave examples of what more we could do if we were given more.
Well, it's different than what you told the House yesterday. So what are you communicating to the President and the White House about what you need and what? And again, we don't have a budget request from you, so I'm not sure what you're asking us for.
I'm not asking you for anything at this time.
You can operate without a budget?
I never said that.
Well, this is unprecedented. Okay, well, let me just go to another topic since you're not going to answer that. The FBI partners with state, local, and tribal law enforcement organizations. They provide critical intelligence and operational capabilities to combat violent crime and gangs and terrorist threats, fentanyl trafficking, challenges that our local communities really can't face alone. I'm going to give you an example. A few years ago, the Southeast Washington Safe Streets FBI Task Force worked with our Benton County and Franklin County Sheriff's Office, multiple Tri-Cities police departments, and the State Corrections Department to carry out one of the largest ever drug seizures in the region's history. Now we've got an administration already cutting more than $800 million in assistance in 2025 to local law enforcement organizations while proposing a $500 million cut for the FBI. Director Patel, can you explain to this committee how cutting resources for our local law enforcement partner agencies the FBI relies on to help your bureau keep safe? How do you expect the FBI and local law enforcement to do more without those significant resources they need?
The FBI will continue to do what it does, which is work with embedded state and local law enforcement officers in our Joint Terrorism Task Force, in our Safe Streets Task Force, in our gang task forces. Those are a priority. Those billets have been maintained. Those billets have not been reduced. And with my reorientation, reprogramming that we've notified Congress to, you will see an augmentation in the field in every single state in this country.
Well, again, we need to see the numbers and we need to see that budget from you. Let me ask you about the NICS system. The FBI is really on the front lines of keeping guns out of the hands of very dangerous criminals. The NICS serves a really critical role in enhancing national security and public safety by conducting background checks. You know this. They are supported by the vast majority of American people, and I wanted to ask you this morning, will you commit to continuing to fund and run the FBI background check system?
Yes.
Thank you. I want to ask one final question here, Mr. Chairman. I want to talk again about how the FBI is focusing its resources. President Trump has turned the Department of Justice into a tool to go after his perceived enemies, and many of the actions we have now seen at the FBI are alarming. The FBI has reassigned and pushed out career FBI agents for political reasons. We have seen fear and intimidation promoted throughout the Bureau, including by polygraphing your own staff. We've seen the arrest of a sitting judge in Wisconsin, and during your confirmation hearing, you committed that there would be no politicization, no retribution at the FBI under your leadership. You've reportedly placed FBI employees responsible for investigation January 6 cases on leave. Is that keeping up your promise of no politicization, no retribution?
It is, because that's wildly inaccurate. Let me tell you what the FBI has done since I got there. 8,276 federal arrests, to 820 kilograms seized of fentanyl. That's enough to kill 250,000 people. Over 3,000 firearms seized, 350 gang cases, 3,000 cases against violent
Well,
criminals
that's not my
doing the work.
question. We know that you...
Well, you asked if I was weaponizing the FBI, and I am not. I'm giving you the hard, concrete examples of the men and women putting handcuffs on bad people, doing harm to our children and innocent Americans. I do not see weaponization.
You have placed on leave FBI employees responsible for the investigation of January 6th. That sounds political to me.
I have not placed anyone on leave who has not violated their ethical obligation or their oath to the Constitution.
So if they were investigating January 6th, you believe they were violating an ethical obligation?
Nope. I think the common theme here is you putting words in my mouth, and I'm not going to tolerate it, nor will the men and women of the FBI.
Well, you did place on leave an analyst responsible for investigating Russia's meddling in the 2016 election. Is that politicization? Is that retribution?
No, not if she broke the law or the ethical guidelines. I don't know which case you're talking about, but that's the standard. And we will hold ourselves inwardly accountable, and we will not be strayed from our mission because people think we are politicizing the Bureau. If you want to talk about someone who was attacked by a weaponized Bureau, you're looking at him. And now he's the director of the FBI, and he's cleaning it up.
Well, I would just say to everyone who's listening that the FBI needs to be focused on its mission to keep the entire country safe. It should not be weaponized for partisan political gain. Thank you,
We are.
Chairman.
Senator Kennedy.
It wasn't a meltdown. It wasn't a defensive scramble. It was Kash Patel, calm, composed, unshaken, staring down the storm and standing tall. Because Patel didn't just survive the attack. He countered it, methodically, relentlessly, point by point. He reminded the committee, and the entire country, what the real FBI under his leadership has been doing, seizing over 800 kilograms of fentanyl, enough to wipe out a quarter of the U.S. population, dismantling violent gangs, confiscating illegal firearms by the thousands, putting criminals in handcuffs, not political opponents in crosshairs. He flipped the script. And then came the accusation that should have sent shockwaves across every newsroom in America, but barely made a ripple. Senator Murray accused him, on the record, of politically purging FBI staffers, of targeting those who investigated January 6th and Russian interference in 2016. But did Patel flinch? Not for a second. He answered with a calm fire that cut through the spin. If they were removed, it's because they broke the rules, violated ethics, crossed legal lines, period. Not because of politics, but because accountability still matters. And then came the revelation that rewrote the whole story. Kash Patel revealed something the media never wants you to hear, that he himself had once been the target of a weaponized FBI. That's right, he's not just trying to clean up a broken system, he's a survivor of it. Patriots, think about that for a moment. The man now tasked with leading the FBI, the man being accused of weaponizing the Bureau, was once on the receiving end of its abuse. He knows exactly how it feels to be targeted, to be railroaded, to be politically smeared. So when he says he's cleaning it up, he means it. This wasn't just a tense hearing over paperwork. This was a full-blown exposure of the rot within our institutions, a tug of war between those who want to weaponize government and those trying to drag it back to its original mission, to serve and protect the people. And that brings us to the real takeaway here, the message that Truth Pill was built to spread. This is our moment. This is where vigilance matters. Because the question isn't whether corruption exists, it's whether we're willing to fight it, whether we demand that the FBI and every agency like it get back to doing what they were created to do, protect the innocent, defend the law, and keep this country safe, not play political chess with taxpayer dollars. We need accountability, not allegiance to agendas. We need transparency, not talking points. And we need leaders like Patel, not perfect, but principled, who won't cave under pressure and who understand the dangers of a government that turns on its own people. So here's what you can do right now. Comment enough if you're tired of seeing justice twisted for political games. Like this video, so the algorithm knows this message matters. Subscribe and stay locked in with Truth Pill. Because we're not just watching the news, we're breaking it down and exposing what they won't tell you. And share this video with everyone you know who still believes in the Constitution, in real justice, and in the power of the people to push back. This fight isn't theoretical. It's happening in real time, in Senate hearings, in courtrooms, and closed-door meetings. Let's keep exposing it. Let's keep demanding better. This is Truth Pill, and we're just getting warmed up.